Hello, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I am back again with another piece of information for this puzzle that we are all putting together in our lives. And this one has to do with feeling the need to figure out our purpose or feeling the need to figure out what the next step is. And, this has been a big thing in the spiritual community ever since I can remember. Okay. And I've been around and awake and aware for many, many years. I mean, I was born awake, and then, of course, I shut that down a little bit. And then in 97, I came back to life again with my awareness. And from that time, it was a very gradual uphill climb coming into the place where I am now. And so, we all choose a different pathway, and some people chose to come in with a very hard, fast wake up. I know many people like that had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening where the fireworks are going off and the bells and whistles and alarms are ringing and feels like your heart is blowing up and you're having a heart attack, and that's not really happening because it's just energy moving through the body, right? And then in that moment, they're aware of everything, and everything is very, very different from that moment on. But for the collective majority of us on the earth, we did not choose that as our path. And we didn't choose it because we chose to have the gradual awakening for whatever the purpose was. And each is based on their own soul contract, right? And the other day I mentioned in my video that I was in art major in my younger years, and that's why I was going to go to art school. But my portfolio was taken for whatever reason. And, I was mad when I was younger, but then as the years progressed and I started to move on with my life, I made a lot of peace with it. But I did put off art, and I didn't desire to do art for a very, very long time. And it really wasn't until I came back into this house 3 years ago where that turned back on again for me, because I had done a good job of stuffing it down through anger and resentment and a lot of different things, and feeling, the pathway that I've taken in my life was very, very challenging, very, very hard, filled with hardship, filled with lack, filled with victimhood. I've been through it. That's why I teach it, right? That's what makes us good at what we do. And that's what made me good at what I do. And I explained I went through the corporate dynamic, working in a corporate environment and learning how to manage a department and the staff that I had, and business and everything else, which kind of makes me good at business. So if someone were to come to me for business coaching, I would definitely be able to help them with that, because I have very successfully been able to create and maintain my own business. And so our life gives us the experience that we're meant to have for the purpose of us being here in this now moment. But what I find to be very interesting and often very challenging for most people is this whole concept of needing to know what our purpose is, or for star seeds, they want to know what their mission is, right? That is more starseed way of thinking. And I never really, and I'm going to say this, I never really subscribed to what's my purpose here. I never really thought about it very much. I never really went out in search of it. I never tried to figure it out. I just allowed myself to unfold, because it always felt like if I had to strive for that purpose that I suddenly uncovered, it seemed like it would be a daunting task, or very challenging to try to find a way to step into that and be that. So I chose, like many of us, to allow my pathway to unfold in its natural state, not having to chase anything or anyone for that purpose. And so I've never been a subscriber to trying to figure out what our purpose is, because when we're meant to know, we will know. It's based on the time locks on Gaia and within the solar system and within our body, our field. And so that's always been my philosophy on understanding what our purpose or our mission is. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because the other day I had mentioned the divine template in my video, and many are writing back to me saying, well, you know, I feel this too, and now I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And to that I would say, good, because in that not knowingness that you're having, you're actually stepping back, stepping away, allowing what's meant to leave. So it feels empty. It feels like the void. And I just had another video out on the void, but it feels like a void and it feels like an uncertainty, and that's okay. And that's good, because we can't create a new reality if we're in the midst of chaos and turmoil in our head. So in other words, our higher self has to take us out of the picture of our day-to-day routine. Routines are, again, limited to third dimensional perspective, because we follow the same pattern, the same pathway. And if you know anything about 5D and higher, it doesn't have a routine. It doesn't have, steps that we follow on a regular basis. It's in flow always and forever. So it's good to let go of the routine. And if you're feeling like you don't quite know who you are, that's okay too, because in the process of becoming your next best version of you, you have to unbecome the old version that you were. We can't move to something new if we're still holding on to the old. It doesn't work that way. We have to make room, so we have to clear that space. So my thought here is to give you a little bit of help or support with what to do in the meantime while you are in this place of limbo, in the void, where you are not yet fully on that next path and aligned with that path yet, but still needing to be in a place where you're receiving, you're a good receiver, and you're just allowing, and you're in flow with everything within your universe. And that is the most important thing, to be in that moment when you're going through your own physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual reconstruction, right? It's a restructuring of your whole molecular system. That's just the way it works. So while we're feeling this state of void, this confusion, this not knowing where to go next or what to do, it might even be a state of apathy where you don't really care. You're not sure what to feel. You're not sure what to think. I would say in those moments, let go of the guilt, because that's something that you're clearing and healing in that moment, feeling guilty for not doing something, not being more, not knowing more, having all the answers. So clearing guilt is your job in that moment. Can you see that? It's very important to have that awareness. So in that moment, while you're feeling this state of void or this lack of clarity that you're having, right? It's very important to understand that in that moment, the desire to figure it out or make something happen is coming from the feeling of guilt that you're not doing something, because we've always been pushed to feel guilty when we're doing nothing. Think about it. Think about all the times you might have heard your parents say, hey, you should go out and do something. Don't sit around the house and do nothing. Go do something. Go out and mow the lawn, or go out and wash the car, or go do the dishes, or something, right? And that would make us feel guilty if we wanted to sit around and do nothing, okay? But we are clearing that guilt program. We're clearing that old belief that we have to be doing something in each moment. So if you could see that in the doing of nothing, nothing, sitting around and doing nothing. You're actually doing something very, very big. You're assisting and supporting the collective consciousness with clearing guilt and shame. Shame's another one, okay? Then you could see the magnitudal job that you are doing in that moment. And it might help you to see that the job that you're doing in the moment of doing nothing is actually more important than anything else you could be doing in that moment, as you are unbecoming that version of you that held that guilt and maybe even the shame, in order to become this highest next version of you, which is not going to feel guilty and is not going to feel ashamed for wanting to have some downtime and sit around and do nothing, or perhaps not know who you are, because it's not important for us to have that information in this moment, as our whole inner structure is reconfiguring. It's like getting a new operating system for your computer. It takes a while to set it up and load it and reconfigure it. And then you have to learn what is new. What is new? So are you making the time in that downtime that you're having to tune in and see what is new? What is new for me? What am I feeling? How am I feeling new? How are you feeling new? First of all, how are you feeling? In case I haven't asked you, how are you feeling? How is this going? How is your reality unfolding for you? Are you allowing yourself to flow with grace and ease, or are you trying to make something happen because you believe you have to make something happen, which is that guilt program that's running? So it's very important in this time now to allow yourself to just be a good receiver of these influxes of super high light frequencies coming through that are expanding our consciousness in each moment. And I guarantee you, from my own experiences that I've had with this, where I've been in that place many times, where I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was supposed to become, what I was supposed to do. I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know much of anything other than there was nothing that I was feeling. There was nothing that I felt like doing. There was no place I felt like going. I didn't feel like connecting with anybody. And I just needed to be. So in those moments, let yourself have that moment. If it's a nice day, go outside for a walk. If you feel like walking, if you don't, maybe just sit in the sun. If you don't feel like doing that, then maybe just go find a place that's comfortable to you and just sit and be okay with being, and close your eyes and just let yourself have that moment. Because there is a certain level of belief running here that we have to be doing something all the time. And when we're doing something all the time, we're constantly in forward motion, constantly occupying the space within our head. And that space within our head never gets a break. Not only does it not get a break, but it doesn't get to defrag, and it doesn't get to unwind what it knows or what it's doing or what it's been through, or the routine that we have set up for ourselves that now needs to be taken apart. Because in 5D and higher, we don't run through routines. We just don't. We don't have rituals anymore. We can still have a ceremony, because a ceremony is a celebration, but we're not going to schedule rituals, right? If we're wanting to sage our house, we could use that for example. We're not going to make it a routine to sage our house or have a ritual to sage our house. We're going to have a celebration. We're going to have a celebration to cleanse the house and restore the balance of energy. Doesn't that feel amazing? Don't you want to do that right now? Okay. So this is where we get to start to look at what is coming in. Get quiet enough. Take out your journal or a piece of paper that's unlined. Remember, lines on paper keep us in 3D. We want unlined paper so that we can be in the higher timelines and be in free flow. And then write down the things that come in, even if it doesn't make sense to you. It doesn't have to. Nothing has to make sense right now. All that has to happen is we be in flow and we allow ourselves to be patient and allow ourselves to wait until the next portion of our path unfolds in front of us. And if we can't see it, it's because it's not time yet and it's not meant to be seen. And we need to be okay with that. And so if it makes you uncomfortable and you feel uncomfortable with that process, that's where your work is right now. Your work is in being okay with not having to be anything more than who you are right now in this moment, not having to do anything more than what you're doing in this moment. And you are supporting the highest timelines. You are supporting the collective consciousness as you are unwinding from all of the lower level distortion in those belief systems that are not truly who you are anymore. And if you don't see it, please see it, that the magnitude of what we are all doing in this moment as we are reconfiguring our infrastructure is so important in the scheme of things. It's probably the most important thing right now. So if you are feeling this way, let yourself have this time out. Let yourself go through this process, because I promise you, it will become clear. I have gone through this many times. I'm not in the process of going through this now, but I have been through this many times. And I have had experiences in the past where I wanted to know what the next step was. And my universe said, it's not time for you yet. We're still working it out. You still have to do a few things first before you can access that vibrational state of being. So in other words, I had to raise my vibration before I could access that next step on my pathway. It was in a higher vibrational state than I was in. And the only way I was going to be able to get into that higher vibrational state and access that pathway was to raise my own vibration. And how do we do that? We do that by letting go of the distortion, letting go of all the untruths that is not who we are, and allow ourselves to experience ourselves in all of our yummy goodness and all of who we are without having to be anything more. There's nothing more to do than be you. That's it. And so if you're going through this restructure, sit back, relax, let yourself have this time out. I guarantee you, the more you can let go, the more you can shift this, the more you can enjoy unbecoming who you were to become who you are meant to be. It's amazing. It's amazing. And you will never have felt so amazing in your whole life. You'll feel so much more because you're not cluttered with the old that kept you running. And now you get an opportunity to just be, and be the you that you're meant to be. And just enjoy it, because the more you relax and enjoy it, the less you are in resistance. And the less you're in resistance, the faster this process will take place. And all of a sudden, things will start to show up for you, and you'll understand this new alignment that you are going through. Okay? So it's my hope that this resonates with you. And if you find that this resonates with you, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you haven't, hit the bell notification so you can be notified of all new content. And if you would be so kind to please give it a thumbs up, or maybe just drop me a comment, because what I'm finding in some of the information that's coming my way is YouTube actually rewards content creators who have interaction with their viewers, with the people that are supporting their channel. So if you wouldn't mind the thumbs up or even a comment below, I would greatly appreciate it. It would help get this video out into rotation, into flow, so that maybe more people could receive it who are struggling at this time, because it is always my intention to support the collective consciousness as we are needing to shift smoothly and quickly through these next couple of weeks. So I wish you a wonderful, whatever it is that you're doing. Know that I love you so, so much. I'm so appreciative that we were able to come together here again today, because I'm never sure what my schedule holds, but yes, we did it. And I look forward to connecting with you again. So much love for you. Take care. Have a beautiful whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.